Hey, it's Lee for On Your Marks Wrestling, and I'm here with a Raw review for April 16th, 2018. If I look tired, it's because I am tired. I was sick most of the weekend, and then I thought I was out of it, and then today I got a little aftershock. But I should be okay now. That doesn't make me less tired, but it makes me less sick. So this is an important episode of Raw. It's the Superstar Shakeup. We're promised by Kurt Angle, who opens the show, that we're going to get new acquisitions and some surprises. And while I didn't see any real surprises, there were some acquisitions made. So right from the get-go, we hear Samir Singh interrupt Kurt Angle. He says that Kurt made a smart move, and then, basically introduces Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal says Kurt made a smart move, but he expects better treatment. He only comes to the ring or to the arena in a limo, not an SUV. But then he also says that he's already proven that he's better than everyone on SmackDown, and he's already better than everybody on Raw. Angle says, don't give anything here, and he asks the locker room if anybody wants to come out and challenge Jinder Mahal for the U.S. Championship. Jeff Hardy's music comes on. Crowd is pretty excited about this. We get a match. It's not the most exciting match, but it's a match. I wrote Mahal's high knee is cool. Knees are always cool, and Mahal throws a pretty good knee. If you can kind of crap on everything else he does, but his knees are good. It also has a pretty good crescent kick. It's not quite a super kick. It's pretty good. Hardy hits a whisper in the wind at one point. It looks cool. Mahal kind of struggles to get a Colossus on, and then it's converted into a kind of slow, awkward roll-up for a near fall. But the kick-out was nice and late, so that was good. There's an interesting move when Mahal essentially tries a kind of gut-buster / code-breaker move. I don't know what you would call it, where he basically drapes Hardy over his knees and picks him up and kind of throws himself on his back and has Hardy land on his knees. Instead of kind of bouncing off or rolling to the side, Hardy basically just stays there and goes for the pin. And I just thought that was a weird but good thing. I've never seen that in a ring, and whenever that happens, I'm happy with it. Eventually, though, we get a Twist of Fate and a Swanton Bomb for the win for Jeff Hardy, and he is the new U.S. champion. So already you do have, I guess that is a surprise. Then we have Mahal in the back. He tells Renee that Angle sabotaged him. He says he wasn't ready, and says he's going to invoke his rematch in Saudi Arabia. So we have that match set. While he was still trying to kind of talk, we hear No Way Jose's Congo line music. And No Way Jose comes in, he tells him to smile, and he invites Renee to join the conga line, and she does, and she kind of dances away. It's fun, whatever. Bayley versus Sasha Banks. There's a slip early by Bayley, but it's well covered by Sasha Banks. I like that. There's a tornado inverted DDT by Bayley, or that's what I called it. I liked it. Michael Cole kept calling double knees Meteora, so I guess that's something that Sasha Banks is going for now. It's going to be called Meteora when she does double knees. The match goes to kind of brawly section for a while. Brawl, B-R-A-W-L. I should make sure I emphasize that. Then Banks has Bayley in a bank statement, and the Riot Squad comes in and interferes. And beat both up. This felt like a good time to turn Bayley, as has every single episode she's been on for the past, year. When are they going to do this? I think it needs to happen. I still think it needs to happen, but I think they're going to do the whole thing where they wait so long that people stop caring. I really do. We get a kind of lame promo from Heath Slater and Rhino. Just basically talking about the Authors of Pain and what happened last week with their kind of squash match. So we have a rematch of that match. Slater and Rhino attack before the bell. They actually get a surprising amount of offense in this, but AOP eventually get the win with the last chapter. Then we have a Miz TV segment. Miz announces the two newest members of Raw. It's Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Kurt Angle interrupts. Zayn pulls out an email that he printed off a copy of. Pulls out some glasses. It was kind of good comedy. He yanks out the glasses. Looked like an old man reading. And he reads this email that basically states that the two are reinstated by way of Stephanie McMahon seeing the match last week and Kurt Angle being too emotional, things like that. So basically Stephanie McMahon trying to get back at Kurt Angle for the match at WrestleMania. Angle informs Miz that he's actually going back to SmackDown, but because Daniel Bryan still has some pull, and he asked to have him traded there. I thought that was pretty cool. Then Miz says, "That's fine, we're going to dominate there," and then Angle says, "Wait a minute, no, it's just you. The Miztourage is staying at Raw." I thought that was a nice touch. I don't know what you're going to do with the Miztourage without Miz, but I feel like you needed to go this route. He also announces that there's going to be a 10-man tag match later on that evening, and he says that it's going to feature everybody that's in the ring, and then he names a bunch of superstars. I'm not going to say who it is. It doesn't really matter. We're going to say it later. But he basically names 4 people, but he leaves one spot open. He says it's going to be a new person, someone who's new to Raw. So it didn't necessarily mean it was new to WWE or an NXT call-up or anything like that. Excuse me, I'm going to replace myself here. But he says new to Raw. There is a very quick Wyatt Hardy promo. Basically their old Woken dueling promo thing, but together. Then we have Wyatt and Hardy versus the Revival in this kind of tag team eliminator thing. The Bar is on commentary. Wyatt now wears an apron, I wrote. Basically like a blacksmith apron. The Revival get a tiny bit of offense in, but the young upstarts hit a Sister Abigail into a twist of fate for the win. This whole card seemed to be like the older person or the more WWE experienced people won everything. So you're not building up any kind of new stars except for AOP. And that's kind of a given. But everything else was kind of just, I don't know. I didn't really love it. We have the Bar backstage. They're talking themselves up. The fashion police come in and give them some tickets for some violations. I actually thought this was actually a really good interaction. The Bar are quite good at comedy, and the fashion police are very good at comedy. It just works out perfect. We also have a backstage segment with Kurt and Ronda Rousey. They're reminiscing about WrestleMania. And then Natalya comes in, and Ronda has like a delayed reaction of recognizing, oh yeah, it's Natalya, the person I trained with. It was a little weird, but other than that, her talking was already quite a bit better than it has been, so that was fine. We have a match. It's Ember Moon and Mickie James. Nia and Alexa Bliss are supposed to be on commentary, but only Nia comes out. We have Bliss backstage talking to the commentators, explaining that she refuses to give Nia a chance to bully her again, which is kind of dumb because she's the one who's been bullying. This is quietly a good match. Like during the commentary and the Bliss segment, I actually thought the match was quite good. There were some sloppy moments here and there, but like it was pretty clean, pretty nice. Eventually, Ember Moon wins with the Eclipse, which it should happen. James sold it enough that she almost flew out of the ring, so it was cool. We have another backstage segment with Owens and Zayn upset about their first day not going the way they planned, with the whole Miz announcement and stuff like that, and the match today. Miz comes up and he kind of does this weird, kind of cheeky asking about Shane's mood, how he's doing right now, and they're like, "Are you serious? Like, you just had a big feud with him." And then he tells him the Miztourage looks kind of dejected or distracted, and he tells them to kind of get serious. They have a match today. The next segment is one that I thought would be super forgettable, but was actually pretty good. So Dolph Ziggler comes out. So he's on Raw now, and he gets a small clap, which is surprising. I thought he would actually probably get booed or silenced, but he actually got a little bit of a clap, so I was kind of happy to hear that. He starts cutting his typical cocky promo, nothing exciting about it. Titus Worldwide interrupts, and they try to recruit him. Ziggler says he came to Raw, but he didn't come alone. And Drew McIntyre shows up with a sneak attack on Titus Worldwide, and they basically get destroyed by Drew McIntyre. At one point, Ziggler and McIntyre hit a kind of simultaneous finisher on Apollo. So it was McIntyre's, I forget what, is it the Claymore? Yeah, McIntyre hits the Claymore, which is a kick, while Ziggler does a zigzag on that. I don't know if this means they're going to be a tag team or if it was just a one-time thing. If it's a tag team, that's fine. The tag team division in Raw is rough. If it's a one-time thing, that's fine too, because McIntyre is a star. I don't know why he's going heel right now, because he was doing all right as a face, but that's fine. It was cool. The crowd loved it. I was into it too. Roman Reigns comes out. Unlike that good-for-nothing Lesnar. That's what WWE wants you to think. Excuse me. And he says things will be different in Saudi Arabia because he's in a cage. It's nothing new. Samoa Joe comes out to remind Reigns that he has repeatedly failed against Lesnar. He also says that he's going to put Roman out of his misery at Backlash. Joe's delivery is so damn good. He is maybe the best person on the mic right now in WWE. There's arguments to be made for anybody, but for a lot of people, but I think he's the best. I really do. At least as the angry guy. Even right now, I don't even know, is he really a heel? I don't know. But he's just so good. Reigns basically challenges Joe to come into the ring, but Joe does the whole fake going into the ring but refusing to go thing. Does it twice, whatever. I don't like that, but I also didn't want to see him go into the ring, so I don't know how I feel about it. Now we have Mandy Rose versus Natalya. I wrote Rose with the bicycle knee on the outside. I love that bicycle knee. It's her best move by far. At one point in the match, Natty starts screaming, "Don't you dare touch me like that." And flashes of the Me Too movement or the creepy uncle stuff. And I was like, the first time she said it, I was like, okay, she probably didn't mean to say that, probably slipped. Now she's heard it, so she's going to stop saying it, but she just kept saying it. Eventually she gets a sharpshooter for the win. Sonya Deville runs into the ring, starts beating on Natty, as does Mandy Rose. They keep beating on her until Ronda Rousey's music comes on. I like that Rousey never runs. She just walks at an accelerated pace. So she walks to the ring fast, goes in for the save, absolution, we'll say, leaves the ring, but then they jump back in. Sonya Deville kind of challenges Rousey, and Rousey strikes her faster than Deville can strike her. They're basically showing she's the better MMA fighter. And Rousey hits this kind of half clothesline, half tackle thing. Stands tall. It was cool. Everything Rousey's done in the ring right now has been pretty darn good. Then, I don't know why they didn't use him, but Baron Corbin is announced as a signee of Raw. I thought that he would have been a better debuter than most of the people that came on here. I think that guy has got some star power, but they didn't do much with him. Then we get a match between Breezango and the Bar. It starts with a bit of comedy at the beginning, as it should. The Bar kind of dominates. At one point, Cesaro goes to tag Sheamus, but Fandango pulls him from the apron. This little bit of kind of timing distraction causes Breeze to be able to roll Cesaro up for the win. So Breezango gets a win on their first day on Raw against the former tag champs, so that's interesting. And I guess that's because the Bar can't really get in a bad position. They're still in a championship match in 2 weeks. Elias is backstage, says he's no longer going to play the small towns. And he also says that Lashley has no business kind of being in the ring with him. He offers Renee a private show, but she basically kind of blows him off. And that's about it. And then we got the final match. And so I do have the superstars that were in it. It's Miz Taraj, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and versus Balor, Strowman, Lashley, Rollins, and Rude. This is pretty much exactly what you think for the most part. So you get a few dive spots, a few finishing moves that don't finish the match, typical stuff. And then the only interesting things that happened in this match were that at the end, the Miz goes to tag the Miztourage in, and they both kind of back off, realizing, hey, we don't need to get beaten up for this guy anymore. We're not going to be on the same brand. And Miz looks completely kind of, I don't know if it was sad or just kind of knowing that he's going to get destroyed by Strowman, which he does. Strowman hits the power slam. They get the win. So the good guys win. Everybody's happy. That's the end of the first day of the Superstar Shakeup. Not too many surprises on this show. Especially after last week, which was like just full of surprises. I feel like you could have delayed a few of those intros. But that's fine. You're left wondering, like, who's going to end up on SmackDown? And I wrote a little, like, some notes, and I was like, I think Balor has to go on SmackDown. I think the Good Brothers have to go on SmackDown. I feel like you need to kind of balance things out. Seth Rollins seems like an obvious choice because you need a title going back there. So if Seth Rollins is not going back, I feel like he's at least going to show up on the show. So unless it's Jeff Hardy that ends up on SmackDown, that could happen too. But yeah, it's a strange kind of setup, and the only kind of big surprise I could see happening on SmackDown, which would be good, would be Big Cass. Maybe something in the women's division, but there wasn't too much going on. But yeah, Big Cass would be a nice return. I believe he's healthy, so that would be cool. So yeah, this episode of Raw was okay. We're going to go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10. There's enough stuff that happened that was important. There's a bit of good in-ring, but most of it was not. Couple decent promos, but again, I think this is more of a setting up pieces for future stuff, so you kind of have to forgive it for a little bit. So I'll say 7 out of 10 on this one. All right, thanks for watching.